There's no doubt smartphones make life so much easier, right? You can grocery shop with one click, you can touch base with your kids with just a simple text, but that convenience can come with a cost. The 24/7 pressure to always be available and expected to respond, that's real. Everyone sees the problem, so what are practical solutions for avoiding smartphone addiction without totally unplugging? Joining me is Melanie Holt, a mental health counselor. I am just so excited to dive into this topic with you. I know it's a specialty of yours, and it's one that you've been speaking on for the last 5 years, reaching a lot of families, a lot of kids, and a lot of women, which is where we'll focus our conversation today. Here's the big question at the center of it, Melanie, I think. Are we controlling our phones, or from your vantage point, from your perspective, is technology controlling us?
It's a great question. I think those of us who have phones, we're pretty good at controlling that little device. The challenge is that most of us have a difficult time managing what's going on behind the device. There are techniques being used by neuroscientists and by engineers and programmers that are geared towards programming our brains, which can lead to addiction if we're not careful.
Like what? Give us an example of one of those triggers.
Some of those things, they do things that will trigger cortisol, adrenaline, and dopamine. So a lot of times they'll refer to smartphones as a casino or a slot machine. Why? Because it triggers an immediate response. And so we get into that habit of wanting to have that immediate reward and immediate response.
How do we know? How can we tell if our phones are managing our lives, if we are off kilter, off balance?
Well, it's easy to tell, but not easy to tell. A lot of times we want to think that we're in complete control of what's going on. I had a mom once that was saying, I really love to play this game and I'm great at it and I don't have a problem. And then she got kind of heated and said, I don't care if my house gets clean or my kids get fed. I do not have a problem with this game and I'm going to play it because I'm good at it. And then she covered her mouth and went, oh my gosh, I have a problem.
What did I just say?
What did I just say? And it was this realization. If you feel anxious when you're engaging with your phone, if you feel like you need more and more of it, if you step away from it, but you find you can't stick to those goals of not using so much, you feel anxiety, if you define yourself by your phone and you look at it, I think of Maslow. If he were here with his hierarchy of needs, your phone is a want, it's not a need. And when you start feeling like you need it, you may want to just step away and reevaluate.
So as we take ourselves through those questions, do we feel anxious when we're using? Do our loved ones complain about the time we spend on our screen? Have we tried to cut back, but maybe we failed in that effort? If we're answering yes to those questions, we can adjust. We need to adjust.
Right. It's not a matter of not using technology. Technology is amazing, but it's what are we using it for?
Well, I often think of my phone as a device, and it does come through for me in so many different practical needs, but as you really examine how society is using technology these days, it's just as much as an emotional need, isn't it, as a practical need?
It is. I think for a lot of people, I want you to think about this. When you think of the Wizard of Oz, when they pulled back that curtain, there was one person behind there controlling Oz. In the world of technology, when you pull back that curtain, there are thousands of people watching what we are doing every single minute we are online. Those people know how to engage our brains and make us feel like we're getting our emotional needs met. The challenge with that is it's like a Band-Aid. We can go on there and get immediate rewards and feel like we're in control, but when we step away, we're not getting enough of what we really need, which is emotional connection in the real world.
Yeah, how do you see people's smartphone use or social media use affecting their real life relationships and their real life conversations?
A lot of times people are just not having those relationships. Everybody can know, they can say, yes, this is true. When you go to a restaurant, people are at dinner together, but they're on their phones.
Yeah.
People are disengaging from relationships. Again, they have control when they're online, and then when you're engaging in a real life situation, sometimes we don't know how to even do that anymore. And so we're losing the ability to really know how to connect and interact with people.
Even deeper than just conversations, do you find that it's affecting people from the inside out, just the internal reactions we have when we're in the real life situations?
Absolutely. It's definitely impacting the way we feel about ourselves from the inside out. One of the really popular sayings in today's world is comparison is the thief of happiness.
We hear that a lot.
We hear it all the time, and technology has really accelerated our ability to compare ourselves to other people. And if we're not careful about that, we get dragged into that. That increases ADD, it increases anger, it increases depression, it increases anxiety. We need that real life connection, and in those moments of silence, that's when we really reevaluate and consider who we are, and we grow from that. Technology doesn't allow us to disconnect and do that.
So it's knowing how, because technology isn't going away. And
Technology
it's a great,
isn't.
marvelous tool. We have to acknowledge that. And we always feel the, I think, pressure to acknowledge that. But you have some strategies to help meet those emotional needs in other ways so we don't rely so heavily on devices. First up, you suggest replacing likes with gratitude.
Yes. So I think we need to keep it simple because technology is simple. So instead of really being anxious to be liked, because we all love to be liked.
Yes.
And that's important, but we need to step away and learn to like ourselves, spend more time learning to like ourselves, and we can do that by daily practice of gratitude. We need to spend time counting our blessings instead of comparing them.
It sounds so basic.
It is. It's really basic. You can't just say, I'm going to step away from my phone and not do this anymore. You need to replace what you're doing on your phone with things that are equally or more rewarding in the real world.
So instead of seeking that validation through the screen, through how many likes we're getting or through what so-and-so said and on my post or on my thread, we're simply stepping back and thinking and being grateful.
Right. Again, count your blessings, because sometimes we get so lost in the virtual world, we don't see all the blessings that are all around us. So count your blessings instead of comparing them.
You also say acceptance is at the core of it, accepting ourselves.
Right. Online, we just can't wait to be accepted. I have kids that use technology, and when they get in there and they request to follow someone and they don't get accepted, that's sort of painful. We need to learn to step away and say, it's great if I get accepted in the virtual world, but in my world, I'm going to accept who I am. I'm going to accept the life I have, and then I'm going to use that to better the world around me. So if we engage in service every single day, it's amazing how an act of service can help us accept our own lives.
I love that. And as moms, we're serving every day, right?
Exactly.
One sippy cup at a time. So are you saying step beyond even those basic household family needs to serve?
I think so. I think a lot of times that's why moms use technology. They're so bombarded with the exhaustion of being a mom, and they don't have time to get out. So it's easy to sit at home in your pajamas and feel like you're connecting with people. But again, what you're missing is you're missing the reward of connecting in the real world. We are serving our families. We need to count that, not discount it. When a mom is serving their child, we need to stand back and instead of minimizing that, maximize what we're doing, that we are making a difference in the real world.
I love that. I love that so much. It's fun to follow people on social media. How can we keep that follow tendency, though, from taking over?
It's so fun to follow people and to see what they're doing. And of course, we want to follow people. It's fun to get ideas, and technology is an amazing way to really enhance our own lives and to figure out what we're doing. But I recommend that we step away from following people all of the time and start following our own dreams. Use technology to figure out, what do I like? Where can I improve? What are my strengths? Then step away from our technology to engage those in the real world and start following your dreams. When you follow your dreams, it's far more rewarding than following people in the social world.
Yes, yes. I love this so much. Thank you so much. Needed advice. I was listening with open ears. I know a lot of other women are going to appreciate your perspective as well. You counsel people on many topics. How can we connect with you?
You can connect with me on justpresson.com.
Justpresson.com. We'll link you from our website. Great to have you. Great to meet you.
Thanks so
Please come
much.
back.
Thank you.
Thank you.